Alright, hey and welcome to The Office Field Guide. My name's Chris and I'm reviewing every episode of The Office ever. And today, we're looking at New Boss.
Really wish you would have told me the new boss was coming today.
What? No, I didn't want to make everybody nervous.
Nope, I could have brought a change of clothes, or...
You look dynamite. What are you talking about?
Which is a divisive episode, which kicks off a divisive plotline, which both gives us a sense of how The Office will change up its formula for years to come, and deliver drama, tension, laughs.
Perfect, because we have now arrived at Kevin and he has no sexual history.
Hey!
New Boss was written by dynamic duo Gene Stupnitsky and Lee Eisenberg, and directed by Paul Feig. New Boss first aired on March 19th, 2009, was up this week with 7.95 million people watching the night it aired, and currently has an 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb. And your New Boss trivia is, what was Kelly hoping Charles would buy for her that night?
I think he left.
What?
Answer the trivia first, spout out the Easter egg, and or leave the best emoji sequence summing up next week's episode, and you'll get your name in that field guide. Today we're going to talk about this tall drink of water.
Really? I don't see it. I mean, he's okay. He's not unattractive.
We're going to talk about this water.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Took him 40 minutes to get ready.
And we're going to get down to the deeper meaning like we always do. And be warned, there may be spoilers for the series ahead. And with that,
Let's go! Oh, God! Okay, come on! I understand nothing.
let's start with this delightfully simple cold opening. The setup is really basic. Michael's 15-year work anniversary is coming up soon, and he wants to throw a party.
I just feel like after 15 years at this company, bravo, by the way, that we should celebrate with a very classy event, a night to remember.
But here's the thing though, the show kind of plays fast and loose with time. Michael says in the pilot, aired in 2004,
I've been at Dunder Mifflin for 12 years, the last 4 as regional manager.
which would put him starting at Dunder Mifflin around 1992.
You hear stories about Dunder Mifflin in the 80s, before everybody knew how bad cocaine was? Gah, man, did they move paper.
Which also means that he had this haircut in the mid-90s, which seems way too late. But either way, he became manager around the year 2000.
Number 1, what should we do to prepare for Y2K?
New Boss aired in 2009, and the airing dates tend to line up with the reality of the show, and we know that because what was happening in spring of 2009?
Due to the economy, there's a lot of worry going around. I didn't want to worry
didn't tell
people.
them.
Well,
Right, so Michael at this point has been here for about 17 years.
after 15 years,
I'm not really sure they care. Don't even get me started on this math.
9,986,000 minutes. We actually sat down and did the math.
Working out the math myself, Michael would have been here during these days.
I started this company in 1949.
Okay, but back to these cold openings. I don't really mind that these numbers don't work up, because this is like a work thing. No one ever really cares how long you've been employed somewhere, except you, and we'd like to all think our bosses keep that stuff in mind. But for the rest of us, they're just numbers to kind of give context, and we don't really pay that much attention to them, so I don't really mind this goof too much. But this one,
Any responsibilities come with it?
Not exactly.
Do you want to keep this made-up position? It's important to you?
when the branches merged back in season 3, Jan enticed him to go back to the Scranton office with the title of second in command.
Wow.
And I know that you just left there a couple of months ago, but we would like to offer you the number 2 position at that branch.
And I think we only really heard about it once more when Jim trumped Dwight's opposition to the committee to plan parties.
What exactly is the PPC?
Oh, that's the party planning committee. They spend hours planning parties.
And I think it was great that Phyllis was the one that ratted them out, as she's still hurt from all the party power being stripped away.
Basically, after Phyllis blackmailed Angela, Michael asked them both to step down from the party planning committee because there was too much drama.
Anyway, back to this cold opening. The thing that I really want to hit on is this.
Not classy.
We've never really seen rain in the show before. Well, not at the office at least. So rain is probably important somehow, right? Could it be symbolism?
French, classic.
Right, a storm's a brewing and I love it, but they keep it throughout this entire episode, even having the parking lot wet when the ladies run after Heimdall.
Oh my god, he's like a black George Clooney.
Excuse me.
So sure, we think, oh, the writing used the rain, but this is actually shot on a soundstage. So to be specific, this is not the building where they shot these scenes. This is the building where they shot those scenes. This building is used for the exterior shots and for actual offices for some of the staff and studio folks. Other than reading this and listening to interviews to know all this, it's pretty apparent just by looking at these windows. These are what these windows look like from the outside, but these are what those windows look like from the inside. In reality, those interior shots would look a lot more like this. So how do they do shots like this in the duel?
There's Andy, he's in his car. You guys, what is he doing?
Why isn't Dwight turning around?
Well, it's a little trickery. Watch what they do here. The doc crew is filming people watching the events occur outside, and as the camera approaches, there's a cut to a shot through the blinds. Now these two parking lots look very similar, so some of these shots might have been shot from this building. But what could also be the case is a shot from these windows with an office window prop to focus the camera through. My favorite trickery in this case is season 7's classy Christmas episode. As Jim and Pam make their way through the maze of snowman terror, there's a quick cut from Jim focusing on the snowman, then Jim attacking the snowman, then the camera pans up to see Dwight on the roof. And as it goes, you can see this exterior shot is not the normal location of the office because these windows don't look like these windows.
Hold on 1 second.
None of this stuff matters in reality, it's just a lot of fun to dissect these things, and I reserve the right to be totally wrong about how they did all of this stuff. It's just my best guess from all the stuff I've seen. Oh, and speaking of that, Peacock recently released this footage from way back in season 2 with Carell and Wilson doing a set tour. So if you haven't seen that, you gotta go check it out. Make sure you pay attention to the windows when you do. It's dark in Michael's office and it's light by Creed's. Okay, so back to New Boss. To everyone in the office, and to our surprise, Wallace has hired someone to finally replace the role left vacant after Jan and Ryan's departure.
Besides, the last two people to have his job were Jan and Ryan. The former was my lover, and the latter my best friend. So who knows?
I always forget that there was a brief stint in which Michael and Fluke from Finding Dory got along.
All you have to do is imprint with her, mate.
It does give some context as to why Michael feels safe to drop these jokes.
Minor, I hardly know her.
And that joke makes as much sense as
Baylor, I hardly know her.
Damn it, Michael, pay attention, man.
And I've seen the theory that Wallace was gonna promote Michael to this role until the Golden Ticket incident. Evidenced by Michael's win in the foreign land, his Prince family paper takedown, and then parading Michael around from branch to branch. I think that Wallace knows that Michael isn't cut out for that corporate job though. My hunch is that he knew it way back in season 3's The Job.
Or a super duper paper. It's super duper. I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in, Michael.
Thank you.
Wallace's management style though is really hands-off.
I am going back to New York. Pam, do me a favor. Don't send me those notes.
And he just lets things play out. Which, while I love this line, it actually does give some credence to Michael's immaturity.
David, it was my understanding that I was not going to be managed.
What gave you that idea?
It was my understanding.
And this is such a real thing. Getting a new boss in your office, it's just stressful. Trying to identify, meet, and match expectations is an exhausting practice, and I feel this so much.
Why are you wearing a tuxedo?
I didn't think you'd notice.
What is a two-way petting zoo?
You pet the animals, they pet you back.
It's almost like Jim is trying too hard.
You're trying too hard, and that's just not classy. See, the thing about classy is it's a state of mind.
See ya. Bye.
But in all fairness, Brixton is no easy cookie to snack on.
Look at me. I'm like Superman.
Is that how you want me to say that? I felt weird. That felt weird. And maybe Jim's seen Idris Elba in The Wire and that's why he's so weird around him. And this keeps up the writer's room's strange addiction to both referring to The Wire and then casting Wire actors in the show. I did read that Krasinski said that acting skittish around Shere Khan
And man is forbidden.
was intimidating, as he was a fan of the actor's intense work on The Wire. Injecting Stacker Pentecost into the world of The Office did an interesting thing. Starting at some point in late season 3, The Office really did start to stray away from the drab and dreary rails of the series and made more frequent stops in the absurd. Michael's delusional world that he's built around him somehow functions in spite of himself. which I think speaks more to his employees than anything else. But we see in this episode a spike stabbed right through the fantasy of Michael's world.
What?
Yeah, I mean, come on. This is a workplace. It isn't designed for your vanity.
McCavity is a no-nonsense kind of guy, which, to be honest, you'd have to be if you were in a management role in a steel mill.
Where did you work before you came here?
Satakoy Steel.
Beautiful.
Fun fact, the street outside the office is in real life Satakoy Street. The more you know. Anyway, my dad worked in a steel mill his whole career. Dude would come home and tell me some stories about the crap that went on, and let's just say there's a reason I work in an office. And this all gives some context to why Bloodsport comes off the way he does to Michael.
Hurt your feelings or you do not agree with my methods, but it is over.
And probably my favorite moment of the episode is Michael's impassioned, nearly in tears tirade against Roland.
It's not like steel. You don't put it into a furnace. If you put paper into a furnace, you know what would happen? You'd ruin it.
But let's get to the deeper meaning to see this Space Precinct Pizza Man's management style. Yeah, that one was a little weak. I was gonna go with Crawl from Star Trek reference, but then I found out that Idris Elba was on this British sci-fi show called Space Precinct, and I think I need to stop reviewing episodes of The Office and just pursue this.
Freeze! Let her go, Benny!
You're breaking in my home and threatening me for no reason? Here's your reason!
Drop it!
Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna stick to my lane. Let's get to the deeper meaning.
What does a bean mean?
Someone please explain it to Cat.
Okay, I think I want to break down this scene for the deeper meaning. So let's start with what got us here. Michael is super comfortable in his job. He knows where he sits. He knows what his bosses expect. Through it all, even surprising to him, his branch performs exceptionally well. So something is working, even if he can't put a name on it. Wallace realizes that he needs to put additional management over Michael because of his immaturity. And that goes about as well as anyone other than Wallace would expect.
You know what? I'm going to New York. And I am going to talk to David Wallace. I'm going to tell him everything. And I'm sorry to say, you're screwed.
Wallace is the CFO, and he really shouldn't have to worry about the day-to-day ongoings of branch staff. I'm not really sure why the chief financial officer has regional branch managers reporting to him, but whatever. The goal of the hierarchy is for Wallace to delegate responsibilities to a single person to be accountable for those things. So he hires the exact opposite of himself. Someone who attempts to rein Michael Scott under control, which from a business perspective makes sense. But all of this coincides with the one thing that Michael begins to project his perceived value with the company.
I've been here for 15 years. Headline, you have been here one day. End of story. You have no right to cancel my 15th anniversary party.
So he pieces out and confronts Wallace, and the first part of his speech is really trivial and whiny.
So I feel like I've been sort of boned.
But then he gives his real plea.
That doesn't seem right to me. That doesn't seem fair, and I think that I've earned more.
And Wallace is moved by that speech. He offers up a party and his presence, which on the surface is exactly the resolution that Michael wanted, right?
It's gonna be great. How's that?
That pause is everything. It's like the cogs are turning, and I don't exactly know what Michael was thinking, but maybe how time after time he sided with the company, put up with the crap, and put his life on hold. Well, that last thing is probably him just projecting, but he says this.
And I've never driven my car to the top of Mount Washington.
And after doing a little bit of research on what Mount Washington is, it's one of the highest peaks in the Northeast and is traversable by car. And as humans do for some reason, this car climbed Mount Washington bumper stickers would have been something that Michael saw his whole life. So Michael's considering right here what he's done with his life. And while Wallace's gesture seems genuine, I think Michael's seeing through this short-term stopgap solution for the last time, knowing that Idris Elba from that Macklemore video would still be his boss, calling the shots and authoritating all over the place. And it becomes clear in this moment that this storm has been brewing inside Michael for a long time.
I quit.
What?
You know, it's after this episode aired, people were confused if Michael said, "I quit,"
I quit.
or he foolishly said, "I acquit."
I quit.
Trying to sound smart. And I get it, right? This moment really sent people reeling. Is Carell leaving the show? Will they split up the cast like they did in season 3? What would the show be like without Michael Scott? Oh, the things that 2009 people had no idea about.
Uh-oh.
And I don't overly disagree with anything that Charles did or a stance that he had in this episode. In general, it seems like the writers really nailed this idea of a new manager coming in and staking claims all over the place.
I am thrilled that the new boss has taken such an active interest in all of the responsibilities that I'm supposed to have.
As being someone who's been in Michael's situation though, it takes a ton of humility to watch someone come in and take control of things you've held for so long. It takes time and willingness to listen and understand people to move past those initial speed bumps in a relationship like this, which is a lesson for both the Michaels and the Miners of the world. And with that, let's rate this thing.
This is the worst.
As always, before I get into the ratings, please give this video a like. It really does help me out a lot. Also subscribe if you haven't. Stay tuned to the end of this for the mini reviews. If you want to be a mini reviewer, check out our Patreon page. Okay, so I had so much to talk about with this one. You'd think I'd absolutely love this episode. Well, let's break it down. The cold opening. Yes, this one is The Office. It's simple, it's stupid, it's a setup, and it's silly. It really checks all my boxes, except for having something that's truly memorable.
You know, that's good, but it's not classy. I need something classy, like the opening of a car dealership.
It's a cold opening in which I'm always glad that it actually comes on, and it makes me smile to myself. But I don't really think I could recall this if I were thinking of my favorite cold openings of all time. I am gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because it really is well done. As for the episode itself, this moment, 5 out of 5 for sure. Shock and awe. And there was an alternate ending for this episode.
I quit my job. Wow. That was real, right? No, Mom, I don't know if I did the right thing.
But I'm glad they didn't use that. This moment cutting to the end credits is such a great and iconic moment.
You have no idea how high I can fly.
As for the rest of this episode though, well, this episode didn't really make me laugh a ton, but it's still really great. There's a lot of silent gags.
If we hire Cirque du Soleil as salaried employees, will that help us with the year-end tax stuff?
And each of those pay off really well. And this episode leans into the cringe, which should be expected when it was executed by the same combination of lead writers and director who created the dinner party. So all up, I give this one a 4 out of 5. And I say that cringing a little bit because I know I get some criticism for rating everything so high lately. But remember this.
I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
While we're here, people.
Heyo!
Heyo!
This is a good episode and a good stretch of The Office. This one introduces us to a new source of friction and drama for everyone. And personally, I love it.
No, seriously.
How old are you?
How old are you?
Oh no.
Okay.
And some people hate Charles. I think we're supposed to.
I'm just gonna let you get back to it.
Yeah, would you,
Yep.
thanks.
I mean, he's indifferent at this point to Dwight and Pam, but he's an antagonist to Michael and Jim. I don't think we're supposed to be enthralled with him.
He is a sophisticated man. He does not need to go dumpster diving for companionship.
But that's just what I think about the new boss. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments. Don't forget about the comment contest. Check us out on our social media accounts and on the Discord. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.